Welcome inside the CEC TV studios for another edition of Trailblazer Weekly. I'm Carrick Segmiller, this is James Guerin, and this week we dive into the winter sports season with basketball results all around.
Indeed, basketball season is underway, and today we've got the men's results from Oregon and the women's results from their opening weekend at home.
It's all coming up next, along with a look ahead at this week's Thanksgiving schedule. Trailblazer Weekly starts right now. Again, welcome inside this week's edition of Trailblazer Weekly. It was a weekend full of basketball while the women's volleyball team wrapped up its season in California. We'll start the show on the basketball court today as the men's basketball team traveled to Monmouth, Oregon for its second road trip in as many weeks. The Trailblazers opened the trip versus Eastern New Mexico on Friday in the first meeting between the two teams. After a back-and-forth first half, Eastern New Mexico built a 10-point lead early in the second half. But Dixie State refused to lose and slowly began chipping away at the lead, hitting 6 3-pointers in the second frame. The game eventually went to overtime where the Trailblazers closed out the 99-89 win over the Greyhounds. Trevor Hill led the charge with a career-high 35 points on 13 of 17 free throws along the way. Brandon Simister added a season-high 20 points, while Austin Montgomery logged his first double-double with 18 points and 13 rebounds. Dixie State continued its two-game road trip versus the host school Western Oregon on Saturday and stayed close throughout the first half, but the Wolves built a 20-point advantage at 86-66 with 6 minutes remaining in the second half. Dixie State responded with a 20-5 run over the next 5 minutes to cut the lead to 91-86, but Western Oregon hit 6 free throws down the stretch to clinch the 97-86 victory. Trevor Hill again led the way with 30 points, while Zach Hunter added 13 points and Brandon Simister chipped in 11 points. Now, for his performance in Oregon, Trevor Hill was named Pac-West Player of the Week on Monday. Hill averaged 26 points and 6.3 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 2.3 steals in 3 games last week. In addition, the senior combined to shoot 56% from the floor, 70% at the foul line. Hill also became the first Trailblazer in the program's NCAA era to post consecutive 30-point games, and he became just the second player to record multiple 30-point outings in a single season.
We stay on the basketball court now as the women's basketball team started off its week against Utah State, a Division I opponent. Always nice to get those games against Division I opponents, but they did lose 92-72. Mariah Martin led the way with 12 points, but not enough as they did fall to 20 by the Aggies. And after that, they opened up the weekend Friday afternoon versus future Rocky Mountain Athletics Conference foe Colorado Mesa inside the Burns Arena. It was a tale of two halves versus the Mavericks as the visiting team built a 21-point lead at 37-16 at halftime, but DSU would fight back, cutting the lead to 58-47 with just under 3 minutes to play in regulation. But the Trailblazers wouldn't score again, and CMU added 3 more points for the 61-47 win. Mariah Martin once again led the way for DSU, scoring 12 points, while Kristen Baldwin added 10 points and 4 rebounds in the loss. The Trailblazers then closed the weekend Sunday versus Montana State Northern, and this time DSU got the start it wanted as the Trailblazers raced to a 22-11 lead after the first quarter. The game went back and forth from there as DSU used a stingy defensive effort, including 9 blocks and 15 steals to help seal a 77-66 win. Allie Franks led the way in the win, matching her career high with 19 points, while Taylor Moyaki chipped in a career high 18 points to help DSU even its record at 2-2.
Now for a quick volleyball recap before we run to the break. The Trailblazer volleyball team headed to Southern California over the weekend for its final 2 matches of the 2017 season. Dixie State battled in both matches, but was swept in both, falling 3-0 to Concordia Irvine on Friday, and again 3-0 sweep to Biola on Saturday. Trailblazers closed the season with a 13-15 overall record and an 11-9 mark in Pac-West play. With that, it's time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show with a look ahead at this week's Thanksgiving schedule. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
Welcome back inside the CEC TV studios and this week's edition of Trailblazer Weekly. Before we wrap up the show today, let's take a quick look ahead at this week's Thanksgiving schedule. Follow along on the screen. As always, it starts today. Women's basketball hosting, that's the word I was looking for, hosting its third consecutive game. They will host an NAIA school tonight, hosting Antelope Valley at 4 p.m. inside the Burns Arena. Moving along, nothing until Friday. The women's basketball team again hosting the fourth game of a four-game homestand. They'll host Westminster. That game will tip off at 2 p.m. the day after Thanksgiving inside the Burns Arena. The men's basketball team up in Salt Lake City at Westminster, although they will not play Westminster during the weekend. They open the weekend against Seattle Pacific on Friday in a 5 p.m. Mountain Time game Friday night. Moving into Saturday, the men's basketball team will wrap up their weekend up in Salt Lake City taking on Dickinson State. That game will also tip at 5 p.m. I'll have both those men's games for you on ESPN 97.7 FM. You can catch both women's game on the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, the video streaming. And that will do it for today's show. That's our look ahead. And we want to remind you that you can catch all episodes of Trailblazer Weekly on demand on the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, specifically at youtube.com/Dixie State Athletics. You can watch the show anytime, anywhere on the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page. For myself and the entire CEC TV crew, I'm Carrick Segmiller. Have a Thanksgiving, and we thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Trailblazer Weekly.